Coming up on YoTV, episode 101, we have...
Big episode. We got hoodies.
And we have some Yo thoughts.
Exactly. Check them out.
Oh boy, yeah, we YoTV, we back here.
Youth culture, youth voices, youth power, coming at you.
What's happening? We YoTV out here.
Before we go any further, I have to big up the magazine. Youth Outlook.
Youth Outlook, chronicle of young people's lives in the Bay Area.
Known all over the Bay and beyond.
Got a lot of good stuff for you this time.
Yo. Hey, how are you guys doing? I am Donnie, of course.
And I'm Silvano.
New member of the Yo team.
New.
We're bringing new people on. We got new people. We got new stories. We got a lot of new stuff. And let me tell you, guys, you're looking good out there. Haven't seen you in a while, but I like what you're doing. I'm just saying. We're here at the Hobby Co.
It's an amazing place.
It's a really cool place. A lot of cool trinkets and
rubber
stuff.
chickens.
I mean, who doesn't need rubber chickens, right?
I love rubber
Tiny
chickens.
ones, put them in your wallet for later.
And they
Anyway.
taste good too.
But I digress. We digress. We're going into a story right now done by Jasmine A. about a friend of hers in Oakland that makes amazing hoodies. A new
Amazing
fashion
hoodies.
designer coming out of there. Really, really cool, colorful things. Check it out next on Yo TV.
It is hot.
Flashing lights, flashing lights.
Hey, my name's Allie Madigan, and I'm the fashion designer for Boozy. I started making clothes when I was about 6 years old. My grandma taught me when I was kindergarten age. I used to live with her for about 3 or 4 years, and she started by making dolls' clothes and actually dolls that I stuffed with things in, and that's where I used my basic sewing skills. I still use those skills now today when I sew, like right sides together and things like that when I'm making my patterns. I had a liking for it, so she just gave me little pieces of fabric that I can just sew together, and that was really interesting to me, how the fabrics came together and how they actually were able to construct a garment. Years later, I got into grade school. I remember altering things with the sewing machine, adding on pieces of fabric, adding on patches, fixing my clothes, turning big shirts into dresses. I was only about 7 years old when I started doing this. But again, this was not something that I thought about doing in the long run. It was just a hobby of mine. I was more into painting and sculpting and other mediums through art. When I was about 15 years old is when I made my first actual jacket from scratch, and with the zipper and the buttons and everything. And I remember I made it that morning, and I spent about 5 or 6 hours on it, and I wore it out that night, and that's when I got all this feedback. So from that, it was pretty much my inspiration to keep on going and to start. And just from that one jacket, I started making more clothes. And from there, that just gave me more fuel to keep going with my designing. It's hard to say how I would describe my clothes. Right now, I would describe my clothes as colorful, funky, intricate pieces that are made from some fabrics that I could only find a yard of, and things that I've, searched near and far for. Right now, practically no one has gotten their hands on the new collection. One or two of the few being MIA. Is now wearing hers. She just recently told me that she was wearing it on her tour, so check her out. Stunner from the Pack has two. The one that was totally different from the rest was a hoodie made up of all of the Boozy tags. So it's nothing else but the tags, and that's one that he's wearing. Another one is a good friend of mine, Kesh from London. She's a designer out there, and she has one that I brought to her personally in New York. I am 18 years old. I started at a young age, so I have a lot to go. Obviously, when I started and I was 17, there was a lot of things that I could not do by myself, even like signed contracts or do business one-on-one with people. So I worked around it up until I became of age, and right now I'm handling a lot of business by myself. Basically, I've been building with the collections and using the money that I have to buy more fabric and to be able to get more resources, different spaces. I have the showroom and the other great things that I have in my company. I'm definitely going to keep on designing up until I'm 87. So there will be no end to it. Keep a lookout for Boozy Made with Love and Care by Allie Madigan. That's me. I'm the designer, and see you soon.
She don't believe in shooting stars, but she believe in shoes and cars. Wood floors in the new apartment. Couture from the store.
So we're gonna go to a commercial break right now, but be sure to check out newamericamedia.org.
Hey y'all, this is Jasmine A. We're at the Hobby Coast still. We're in the back in the bead room.
And I'm Yiming, and this is Chris. And we're about to bring you a story from Alameda about this girl who was murdered on Halloween. She was 15 years old, and we did some research on it, and it turns out that the guys who got arrested for it were actually victims of racial profiling. So stay tuned, check it out.
The murder of Iko Bayarsakan on Halloween launched an all-out investigation by the Alameda Police Department. 8 youth were detained. 2 Southeast Asian boys were charged with the murder and their names were leaked by the media. The boys were later released. Community members felt the police tactics are considered racial profiling. They felt youth from the Southeast Asian community were wrongfully arrested based on false notions of gang affiliation. We spoke to the cousin and sister of one of the boys arrested. His cousin serves as the liaison for the family. His sister was also detained with him the day the police raided their home.
The day of the arrest, my cousin was detained along with his siblings and taken in by the Alameda Police Department. They served a search warrant and an arrest warrant, and he was detained and arraigned and booked with the murder of Iko.
It was like any other morning. I got up around 7:30 a.m. and my brother's friend came over. He lived around the neighborhood because he gets carpool to school. Then I took my 3 brothers and his friend to school, and as I was backing out the driveway, there was a squad car behind us. At first we didn't know they were directing at us, so I was still trying to get out of my driveway, but they blocked it, and then later on they kept yelling at us, and there's a canine, and they had their guns pointed at us, so that's when I knew they were aiming at us. I was terrified because I didn't know what was going on, and I just kept asking them what's going on, and they didn't tell me anything, and they just took us out and handcuffed us. When we were handcuffed, I felt really humiliated because we were outside on the streets, and then my neighbors were passing by. When I called my father already found out from the neighbors, because our neighbors had to call my parents because the police didn't call my parents. Well, when I watched the news later on that day, I saw a news reporter asking my neighbors what had they seen early in the morning, and then a couple of them were like, "Oh yeah, we assumed it probably had something to do with the murder." So, of course, it gave a bad rep to my family. During the week where everything happened, things, home just didn't feel like home anymore. And I could tell that my youngest brother, he was really shooken up by the whole thing because, for a couple of days he didn't want to sleep home because my other brother wasn't home, and then our house was a mess and everything just didn't feel right.
My cousin is a very well-respected and loved young man by his family and his community. He has been involved with APAL, that is an organization in Oakland that works with Asian Pacific Islander youth to promote advocacy and leadership. Along with that, he's also worked with Lao Family Community Development Center. He's very much a leader, and he takes charge of situations. Although this incident has happened to him, he hasn't used it or reacted negatively to it. He's actually working with APAL and being productive and proactive about what positive actions to take next.
Our organization is here today because the Alameda Police Department has terrorized the Southeast Asian community. They cast a wide net over the whole community, and our youth members have been accused of being in gangs, falsely accused, based on a MySpace photo at an anti-war demonstration where our youth were holding up peace signs. The police, based on the way that our youth were dressed and based on the fact that they were holding up peace signs, accused them of being in a gang. And we want the Alameda Police Department to conduct a real investigation that's not based on stereotypes.
In regards to the accusation made against my younger cousin, we want the public to fully understand that neither he nor the other young man arrested was ever involved in any way with the heinous crimes or its culprits. This given, my cousin's innocence has not been adequately or fairly portrayed. So I would like to emphasize myself again and clearly state, never was he involved or affiliated with this murder or the person that committed it. The high-profile case brought much unwanted attention, which impacted the entire Seychow family.
Their dad lost a week of pay. I lost a week of pay. The students, for the safety of his brothers, they were also pulled out of school for a week, so they lost time at school.
I was just focusing on school because I'm a full-time student, and since my mother's lost her job now, I'm probably going to go look for a job myself to support me and my brothers as well.
The police misconduct we have issue with is the racial profiling. What we do want from the police is an independent investigation into how the Alameda Police Department conducted their investigation of this murder.
Lieutenant Art Fuentes of the Alameda Police Department denies that the gang members were identified based on peace signs in a MySpace photo. He asserts proper procedure was conducted. APAL and the Alameda Police Department have been meeting, and they are currently still in the process of reaching a resolution.
Okay, so we're gonna go drink some more cappuccino, and we'll be right back in a minute. So in the meantime, go check out youthoutlook.org.
You can hear the sounds of the kids out here playing, having fun. Today on Your Thoughts, we're going to be talking about Britney Spears' little sister, Jamie Lynn Spears. She's pregnant. She is 16. We're going to go walk around here, just around the city, and talk to some people about it. But I'm going to introduce a new member of the Yo team, Jasmine A. Say something to the people, Jazz.
Thanks, Donnie. I'm Jasmine A, and I'm out here, and yeah, she's knocked up. Let's see what people think about it.
Okay, so today we're talking about Britney Spears' little sister, Jamie Lynn Spears, is 16 and pregnant. So how do you feel about that?
Just normal, I guess, because she's human. I mean, it happens to everyone.
So we'd have Britney Spears like being crazy, crazy slut, and all these like 12-year-old girls would be like, I want to be exactly like her. Oops, I did it again. You know, I mean, come on. And now we have her little sister, Jamie Lynn Spears, who I thought was doing really good at first because she was on, Nickelodeon, or it was Nickelodeon, right? Yeah, making these really, really good movies for the kids and shows for the kids and all this crazy stuff. And then out of nowhere, bam, I find out that she's that she's pregnant at 16 from her 19-year-old boyfriend, and she's gonna have it. What the hell is wrong with that girl?
I think that it could potentially be an issue because 16 is very young to be having a child, especially if you have your own show, and if 16-year-olds are watching it and she's kind of an example to everyone, it's a little weird. I think she should keep the baby if she's responsible enough to handle it, but considering that Britney Spears isn't the most responsible parent, I don't really know.
And if you're gonna be like a role model for all these little kids, don't yourself up like that. I mean, I have sex probably more than most people out there. So I'm not saying don't have sex. Just watch yourself, and don't let the kids that are looking up to you know that you're gonna get pregnant at 16 and life up.
Okay, so Alicia Keys, who's all-knowing, by the way. No, she's not pregnant. Alicia Keys isn't pregnant. No, you still got a chance. She all-knowingly said that Jamie Lynn Spears should be a spokesperson for a teen pregnancy, for a teen safe sex. Yeah. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, that is true too, cause she's famous. People look up to her. So yeah.
Yeah, we should advertise her. Don't be like that, crackhead. I mean, come on. I agree with that because that's totally cool. Because if we show kids, this is what happens if you don't have safe sex. If you're gonna go out there and a bunch of people. Wear a condom.
Do you have any good baby names maybe throw out there just in case she's watching?
Is it a boy or a girl?
Maybe you don't know yet. Just throw some out.
Let's see. I don't know. Madison?
Madison?
Yeah.
Any guys? Any good baby names?
Chloe?
Chloe? A shrug would work. Prince has a name like that, just a symbol.
I don't know, maybe what's a Britney Spears song that would be really ironic to name her as? I don't know.
Oops.
Oops, yeah, oops, it happened again, maybe.
YoTV went to Civic Center when Barack Obama was in town, and
We talked to a lot of people in line, in the long line out in the cold, and we got in, we saw Barack, and apparently, hot chicks dig Obama.
Move over, Alcatraz. There's a new rock in town. B-Rock. Obama here tonight. How do you guys feel about this line?
This line's crazy. I think it's representative of how much people support Barack Obama.
I'm here to see Barack Obama speak because I want to know what he plans on doing for our future, especially with the war in Iraq. And I really want to see his opinion on Iran. And I want to see his environmental policies because they're very important to me.
How about you?
Well, I read both his books, and I thought they were amazing. I already support him. I think he's like the best presidential candidate.
Barack Obama seems, actually, first of all, before I go any further, can we talk about your pins? Tell the people what your pins say.
Hot chicks dig Obama. Yes, it's true.
Barack Obama seems to have kind of a cult following with young people. There's really kind of like a concert atmosphere to this place. Why do you think that is?
He's young, so I guess people can kind of relate to him.
I do feel like he has a chance just based on the fact that he has a certain oomph about him that he just can grab the crowd's attention. He's not boring. He focuses on issues that people are actually concerned about and can relate to.
Show your support for our next president. Guaranteed good for at least 5 more years.
I'm being an optimistic realist. I think if this were a perfect world, then he would be, like the front runner, and, we could see it like a year down the line that he would most likely win. But being realistic, I think the issue of race will come into play.
He's the only person I've really been following. I haven't really followed anyone else but Obama. My parents like him also, so.
And of course Oprah, did that whole thing with Obama, and everyone watches Oprah.
He's more relatable than other presidents in our past. He's a younger one, and he just has more of a, savvy charisma to him than other presidents.
The general, populace of young people that are going to be voting in this next election would probably vote Democratic just because it's more progressive, and we're all really pissed off at Bush and his administration.
I think being charismatic is definitely a very good quality for him to have because, young people like people who are interesting. They don't want people, not necessarily people who are too elaborate in their speech. They like people who have energy.
Barack Obama seems to have kind of a cult following with young people. Why do you think that is?
I think because he's the only candidate I really see reaching out to young people. Previously, he was on MTV, and people asked him flat out honest questions, and he gave us honest answers. And I haven't seen any other candidates doing that. Other candidates mainly focus on older voters, but they have to realize we are the future, and they do need to focus on our opinions.
To me, he seems like the only honest candidate out there right now.
I think he's new. I think that's the biggest thing. I think people are tired of the old. He's new, he's fresh. He seems to be concerned about the young people, and I think older, presidential candidates don't think that young people care. And I think they're still stuck in the whole MTV generation who's kind of apathetic to political issues.
Do you think it's important for our generation to vote or not so much?
I think it is important for our generation to vote because if we don't vote, people who aren't going to be living in our time are going to have policies affecting us that we're not going to agree with. So if we don't voice our opinion, we have no way of our future. We can't plan things we want to happen.
I think it's extremely important to vote. I feel upset that maybe the most turnout we ever get nowadays is 50%. I mean, if people actually turned out and went to the polls because their opinion does matter, we might not be in the mess we are in now.
The most important thing is for people to be educated voters, especially the young people.
I think it's a citizen's responsibility to be voting in elections.
Oh, of course. Yeah, in the next election, we're voting. Yeah.
You guys feel it's important to vote?
Yes, I do. Even though it doesn't seem rational to vote, it still is a really big part of our lives, and the more votes creates a majority. So
I think it's important to vote. I can understand why people don't vote, because it is, when you think about the bigger picture, and when you start to feel apathetic to the fact that one vote doesn't necessarily swing an election, but then when you think of like a group of people, it could.
Did you know they sold that here too?
$13 too.
That's a deal. That's crazy.
Anyway,
we have to leave, you guys. We're going. I picked up some cool hobby stuff while I was here. Got some yarn. Play with it a little later.
Trojan action figures.
Really, really fun. Anyway, we have to leave, you guys, like I said before. But before we go, in the meantime, what should they check out?
You should check out youthoutlook.org.
Do that.
And Yo Blogger.
Yeah, see a lot of cool stuff from youth voices all around the bay, just like you, just like us. Man, I don't want to go, Savannah. I don't want to leave. I want to stay. I want to stay with you guys.
I want to stay. I want to talk to you.
The people.
The people.
Too bad we can't, though. See you next week. But I gotta go. All right, anyway.
And beat up my audience members. That's
Wait,
a different
what
story.
does that mean, this guy?
Yeah.
Just want to hang out. What's up? Oh,
What is this?
what is this monkey doing?
What is this monkey doing?
What on the earth is this monkey doing? I'm thinking of entering so you think you can dance. And I think this might be my outfit.